Alright guys, welcome back to the shop. I had mentioned doing this video yesterday. So I've kind of already done one. This is the flap servo, and it's pretty simple. It had, I don't know if you guys remember it, but it had this, so this is a G10 plate that the servo mounts to that goes into the wing. It had a square box that was kind of, I thought maybe it was glue, but I think it was just machined or laid up this way. It was a square, and the servo with these L brackets would sit on top of that. But I didn't like it because the servos are already, back as is. So to get the servo arm and servo closer to the plate so you can kind of get more travel before something hits and have to cut less, I wanted to sand this down. So that's what I did. It almost looks like they were glued on, but I couldn't get them off by trying to run a razor blade, so I just took a Dremel and sanded them down. And what it does is it doesn't change any strength. I mean, these are really beefy anyways. So, but I still have this piece here and this piece there, so it does still have some extra, rigidity. And these are kind of heavy anyways, so it's just because they're beefy. It didn't hurt anything to grind it down, and it allows the L bracket to sit right on the bottom plate, and it gives me about, that's good, it's about 3 more millimeters out for clearance. So that's kind of what I went with. So nothing crazy with these. I've already centered the servo, and I just hook it up to my little servo tester, and I put the arm on the ailerons. The flap's a little different. I don't center it. I basically put, when it's at one throw, which would be flaps up, you kind of like right here to kind of help give it, some mechanical advantage. And then when flaps go down, that too. There you go. And that's all the throw you need to get the flap travel you need, because I think it needed like 120 millimeters full throw, and this gets you that no problem. So, but you do have to put a spacer behind this as well. So I just took some of these little carbon servo holders that you used to get with helicopters, and I kind of put that on there. So nothing crazy. And I kind of changed it around. I used these screws, 3 millimeter screws, which are Phillips head, are meant to bolt on and hold the bracket like this. So I just use these because they have a wide head on them. I use these to actually hold the servo to the bracket, and then I got some of my button head, I don't know what you want to, I guess they're button heads, or the rounded head, and use those, and they're black so you don't see them as much, to hold the actual L bracket to the plate. So that's kind of a change. They had, I don't know what they were using. I think the ones that came with it, you would use an M3 screw when you put a washer to hold it down. So I just changed that. Works better for me this way. So Loctite as I go. I was actually talking to the designer of this jet right before. I think that's what vibrated on my phone, was him. And it's nice to talk to somebody and they kind of like ask me questions that you need about, hey, is this your intent? What's the deal with this? And then, if I find something, he can kind of pass it on to the factories, like, hey, you guys are not doing this right, or you messed up this, or make any little changes. So that's kind of a good thing. You work with somebody that wants to improve their model. Not that there's much to even improve on this one, because everything like I was telling him, like most of the things, there's always something that somebody's not going to like about a model, which is, that's understandable. Everybody's different. Everybody's got their own little things. And the things that I'm changing are just really, you don't have to. They're just personal. And because of the equipment I'm using, I had to do, different, I would prefer, not to have these cut out just so I can make better cuts that fit my equipment. But that being said, there are people that don't want to do that, that just want, hey, I want my model, I want all the horns installed and everything pre-cut, and I'll just go from there, because a lot of people don't even build their own jets anymore. So you build for the masses, I guess, because like I said, you can't really make everybody happy. And like I said, I think I've already goofed. I did. Dang it. Already goofed. Already goofed. Look at that. I put them on backwards. So anyways, let me take these back off. But yeah, that's my little things are just my little personal things. Nothing wrong with the model itself. And I'm trying some higher bit rates on this camera, so if it gets hot and shuts down, I apologize. I'm just trying to do the best quality I can with this little GoPros, just for you guys, so y'all can see better. And when you actually bring up YouTube, there's actually the settings bar on the bottom right. You can actually select 4K, because I do everything in 4K, but it doesn't default to that. I think the default for is like 1080p or something like that. So if you want the higher quality videos, a lot of times if you don't already have it set, you'll have to set that yourself. But I do film in 4K, which is why it eats up a lot of battery. And these GoPro Blacks, they had a issue that they just shut down when they get, well, I think all GoPros do that. They shut down when they get hot, and these had a problem with that. And by turning the settings down, it allowed me to kind of get through stuff without them shutting down. So I lay it on the thing, that way I get these before I tighten all these, and that way they're all kind of flush like they need to be. That way you don't put any crazy bind on the actual servo arms themselves when you tighten it down, because not all of them, I have some servos that are metal. The tops are not metal, they're the plastic material. There we go. You can kind of see there. Nothing crazy. Now, you kind of see how it goes. And then you just put the screws in. See how that always bends out. But yeah, I was talking to a guy over in Dubai about the jet and everything, and we were talking about pricing, and I was like, he's like, well, it's kind of expensive. I'm like, not really. You know, 5,200-ish is about what you're going to pay for one of these, and that includes the light kit. So if you don't want the light kit, there's like $300, and then that's also shipping. So if you actually subtract the shipping from all that, which I think is about $800 or $900, then it's actually pretty reasonable. You know, because if you get an Elite or a BVM type Bandit, Ultra Bandit or something, they're really expensive. And the quality is, you know, honestly, no different. Because I've built an Elite Aero Sport before. I built, well, I've seen what BVM's putting out now, and trust me, it's no better. When it comes to the sport jet stuff. Now scale, that's a whole another story, but this is not a scale jet. He hasn't made a scale jet, but I think he's planning on it. Fingers crossed there. So he does have more models lined up. These are just, this one and the Outlaw were his first two. So getting some sport jets done, because they're easier, and you know, making some money, hopefully. Hopefully he is, because he's a good dude, and he's got some cool stuff that he's looking at doing in the future, so it'll be good for the hobby. But as you can see, it's just the 4 screws here. You could put washers, but this is so beefy, you don't need it. And I did, he sent me a drawing of the tail section a minute ago, and the pipe attaches to the tail section. So when you take it off, the tail off, the pipe stays with it, so you can, like I think I mentioned that the pipe will stay attached to the engine mounts based off of what I saw in the kind of like assembly manual that they have online. But I don't know if that's because the early ones had a different pipe design or what, but I'm hoping that's the way it is, because that'll make life a lot easier. All right, so there you guys go. And yeah, I'm just gonna tuck this. Just be careful when you cut these. Don't do the, oh, oops, and cut it the wrong way, because it's happened. And when I say wrong, don't cut this side, but you know. And they have some pretty easy channels, openings that the light wire and stuff goes through, and it basically will run like this and out here. There's an opening here. There's an opening here. But I don't want wires around the gear. I'm trying to keep them in front of the gear. There you go. And that's it. Nothing crazy. And then you put these, I love these screws. And it's just 4 screws. Yeah, I'll have to get that. 4 screws each corner for each one. And I will go back and I'll run some CA. I'll drop some CA, thin CA in each hole to give the threads, you know, just some extra strength. But it's just 4 of these per. I think that's him blowing up my phone now. I have all kinds of stuff I want to talk about before I get on these things, but then I get on here and I forget it all. But so that's kind of what you're doing per. And rods, I used their rods. These are beefy. They're not bending. It's the same rod for the flap and aileron. I'm putting my Dubro high heavy duty ball ends on, and that's a change from using the stock. Nothing wrong with the stock. They're just not as smooth as the Dubro, and I've been using the Dubro for years. So, and when you're done with it, it looks like